just kicking it off. I'm just going to start the show, talk about the show, run the show. I got nothing to talk about. It's 10:39 p.m. Sunday night. We're going to call this Monday's episode Monday, the July 18th of 2022. We just got news that Mark Fleischman passed away, assisted suicide in Switzerland. For many who are not familiar with the name, Mark is the gentleman who stepped in and took over Studio 54 when Mr. Schrager and Mr. Rubel sold out after being convicted of tax evasion for $700,000. And he bought the disco. I don't know what he paid. I know that at the time there was an absolute fortune put into it in those years. And ironically, I was just looking at my raincoat, Giorgio Armani raincoat from those years, 78, 77, 78. Bought it in Barney's. It was like an olive green color. And I used to wear it to the clubs all the time. I used to walk around, collar up, collar down. I don't know. I worked it. Believe me, I worked that raincoat. Got my money out of it. And got a lot of years. It's still here 45 years later. So I just took an offer on eBay and I'm letting it go. There's sentimental value, but at the same time, you can't look at a coat for 45 years. You got to keep things moving. You got to keep things flowing. I have too much stuff here. And I want it out. Most of it I want out. So I'm making moves in regard to that. I don't want to leave anybody with a mess that they have to deal with because it's going to end up in dumpsters. So let it go to homes. You know, I remember there was a guy, his name I believe was Howard. And I was a member of the Garden Society, and I may have told this story once on the show years ago. There was a silent auction for a Bursera. I bought it. There was a Adenium because we had a show, and I was a member of the Garden Society of the City of New York. Indoor Garden Society, okay? Where's my membership card? I usually keep it pretty close by. Here we go. Okay. So this particular card was from 2009 to 2010. And I was a member for about 15 years, I guess. Stopped being a member 10 years ago. There was a gentleman, so I bought the Adenium, I bought the Bursera, I bought a couple of other very exotic pieces. And you don't know whose is what and what's whose. Each guy walks in with stuff, cuttings, and we propagate the cuttings and we sell it to each other. And you end up with plants because you grew the cutting into a plant. And I loved being a member of the Garden Society. Believe me, I loved it. But the bottom line was this guy Howard used to keep coming up to me. Yeah, that was my Adenium. You bought my Adenium. Yeah, you bought my Bursera. Yeah, you bought my this. Yeah, you bought my that. And, I guess we have the same taste. I guess we have the same taste. I didn't know what was really going on. I was like the youngest guy in the group. Everybody was in their 70s, 80s, 90s, in Greenwich Village. And shortly thereafter, Howard passed away, and I understood what was happening at that point. That Howard was bringing his plants to the meetings to get them homes. At that point, he had lived his life with them. They were magnificent, they were mature, they were hardy, they were healthy. But he wanted to put his affairs in order. And he wanted his, and thank God. I got beautiful pictures. The plants are doing really well. I gave the Bursera to a friend of mine as a housewarming gift years ago. He ended up selling the house. Who knows if the Bursera survived. It was something magnificent. Magnificent. The Adenium is here, and in fact, I took a cutting of that and started a second plant, which is doing real well on its own. But let's get back to the point. And the point is, We don't know. Every day we hear something, somebody passing away, somebody not feeling well, somebody suffering with something. And we should all, God willing, live and be healthy. But the bottom line is, we're in a game now of, we're in the shooting gallery after a certain age. If it ain't you, who is it? God forbid. And I don't want to be dark and gloomy over here. But I know that nobody I know wants the mess that I have here. Maybe a piece here wants to go to this guy, and the other guy likes my lamp, and the other guy likes my bookends, and the other guy likes this. But I have easily, I'm embarrassed to say, over 18,000 objects in this home. Because business, pleasure, collect, don't collect. Plants alone. And plants, now that's an issue. Because if that don't get resolved within the first week, what's happening? Somebody knows to walk around and water them until we figure out what we're doing with them? It's going to be pots of clay with dirt in it. So I'm going to say that we want to do the right thing. We want to live. We want to be healthy. We want to eat the correct foods. We want the antioxidants. We want plenty of water. Stay out of the sun. Wear the sunblock. Get the 8 hours sleep, plus a few more minutes just to be on the safe side. Why 8 hours and 20 minutes so that you don't go for 7 hours and 40 minutes and say, oh, I got enough, I got 8 hours. You want to round it off to your advantage, not your disadvantage. Get your rest. It's so good for your immunity system. Okay? And let's eat the blueberries and eat nuts. And we don't buy tasty cake, cupcakes and donuts, which is all processed garbage. Not even for our kids. Okay? Let's eat wholesome, real food. What's wholesome and real? Food without packaging. Okay? Or food that just is packaged. Chicken, fish, protein. Let's live long lives. Let's be healthy. And let's be prepared for whatever comes, what may. Okay? I had an uncle, he passed away. I can't help but tell the story. I'm sorry, I don't want to get personal. He never got married, he never had kids. He was one of 6 siblings. The other 5 were all gone. So he had nieces and nephews, that he did have. But he had no children, he had no spouse. He had no grandchildren. A few weeks before his 90th birthday, he passed away. Now, we didn't know what to do. Well, we knew what to do. One cousin, God bless him, he took charge of the situation. He sent out memos to the rest of us. And he said, listen, we're going to meet at the house. It was a Sunday. And we're going to have a system. And each guy's going to scribble his name on a piece of paper, crumble it up, and throw it into a bowl. And we're going to pick names out of the bowl. And you pick your name, and you grab 10 things, and you leave. Let that sink in for a minute. You grab 10 things, and you leave. So the first one picked, I'll take this picture of Tita, and I'll take that picture of Auntie this one with Uncle that one. And, I mean, these photographs were 100 years old. You're talking about pictures that were the entry for immigration in 1918, 1919. You're talking about 100 years old. And people took the pictures. They took the pictures and they left. And okay, see you later. Okay, who's next out of the hat? And who's next out of the hat? And this is what was going on. And I'm haunted. I'm haunted by that story. I got to tell you. Because I'm single, because I have no kids, I have no grandkids. If you want to support the show, we're supported by viewers like you. Charlie Anteby, P.O. Box 100, Deal, New Jersey, 07723.